How have Meghan Markle's past words come back to haunt her? Has she told Prince Harry he has to step up financially? Did the palace ignore key information on Andrew? What was Catherine's love declaration for William this week? And why the Prince of Wales is determined to make it to Peter Phillips's wedding this time around.
40 years of writing about the Windsors, and Lady Colin Campbell still answers the Meghan Markle question the same way every time she is asked it on air.
But at the same time, they were members of the royal family and they had accepted £2.4 million to renovate their house in Windsor.
Not with a rumor, not with a scandal, with a sum. Something in that marriage has changed value, she says, and once it did, everything that follows was only ever a matter of time. The panel around her does not argue. Nobody at that table ever does. What she is describing is not a breakup story, and it is not gossip. It is arithmetic, and the arithmetic has already started running. The question. Nobody answers. Lady Colin Campbell does not do the tabloid version of this story. Her method is a single question, put to royal panel after royal panel, and never once answered in the room.
To maybe wait outside the hospital, wait for a glimpse of mother and baby and father to come out.
Would she have been interested in Harry if Harry had not been Prince Harry? That is a question about motive, and motive cannot be proved. It should be said plainly at the outset that Meghan Markle has never accepted any of this characterization, and that none of the people making it has ever been inside that marriage. Campbell's own answer is not an accusation of wrongdoing. It is a description of a style. In an impression she has performed on daytime television, she plays a woman who gives nothing away for nothing, who states her terms and expects to receive them in full. Very transactional is how she ends it. 3 words delivered flat. Only once that has landed does the rest of the panel become interesting. Because on air, a host put the blunt version of the future to her, that Meghan Markle will move on, and that the next man will be older and considerably richer than the one she has. He went further, claiming knowledge of meetings in Los Angeles. Meetings with billionaires, he stressed. Not parties, not red carpets. That claim is his, and it is unverified. What matters is who was sitting beside him. Angela Levin wrote Prince Harry's biography and spent 2 years in his company, and she has been consistently warmer about him than about his wife. Handed the chance to knock the theory down, she declined it. Her framing was that Meghan has moved in the orbit of extraordinarily wealthy men for a long time now, and that she could not say whether they were uninterested in her or she was uninterested in them. The conclusion Levin drew is the line that traveled, that Meghan is still holding on to Harry because the right person has not yet appeared, not still in love with him, still holding on. The ranking of who actually closed the door on Meghan Markle.
I think in a way it's seeing how they behave. If they use the royal family to make pots of money, then it won't be very good.
This year comes later in this video, and it is not the person most viewers would guess. Subscribe now so it does not pass by. Because the next section is where Lady C stops describing a marriage and starts pricing one. The man without a job. Paul Burrell worked for Diana, Princess of Wales, for a decade, and his version of the forecast is cruder and shorter. It will not be enough for Meghan, he said. She will go off. Her next step is a billionaire, because she already has millions, so why would she not step up? That is opinion from a man who has built a media career on this family, and it should be weighed as such. What is not opinion is the condition of the asset Levin says she is holding on to. Asked on a podcast what he does for a living, Prince Harry could not produce an answer. He offered that he was a duke, then that he was a prince. Then he stopped. He is 41 years old. Royal commentators have reached for the same image more than once. A racehorse trained for one track and then retired somewhere that has no track at all. For 3 decades, the diary was filled for him. Engagements, patronages, regiments, polo in the spare hours. In Montecito, it is his to fill, and nobody has yet been able to say what fills it. The commercial picture moved in the same direction. When the couple first landed in California, his name alone was reported to be worth a 7-figure appearance fee. More recently, he was reported to have taken around £50,000 to speak at a property conference. Whatever the precise figures, the direction of travel is not seriously disputed by anyone. Ingrid Seward, who has edited a magazine about this family for 40 years, summarized the arrangement years ago in a single word. Meghan, she said, has to hang on to Harry because he is her entree. Without him, what is she but a starlet? If he was the entree, the meal has been eaten. And that is precisely the point at which a host on live television offered Lady Colin Campbell the easiest line in the entire story, and she refused it twice in under a minute. Both sides of the bargain. The line handed to her was the sympathetic one. Poor Meghan, duped. A woman who believed she was marrying a multi-billionaire and received instead a spare prince on an allowance, a cottage at Frogmore, an inheritance rather than an empire. With due respect, Campbell said. And then she took it apart. In her account, Meghan had known for years that Harry did not have the money she would have liked him to have. And Harry, in the same account, had sold her a man far more powerful than he had ever actually been.
But they do it in America. It's a common practice. But she flew over private jet. What's wrong with a commercial jet?
Each of them, she said, was deceiving the other. She has described their shared ambition in the same breath, that William and Catherine would take Britain and the Commonwealth, and the Sussexes would take everything else as the global royal couple. It did not happen, and she does not pretend it nearly did. Then comes the second refusal, and it is the one that separates her from almost everybody else working this story. Asked who is to blame for what the pair of them did to that family, she does not give the internet the answer it is waiting for. Mostly Meghan, she says, but with Harry's connivance. Connivance, not weakness, not naivety, not a good man led astray by a clever American, not a boy led astray, a grown man who put his hand up. That double refusal is why her forecast carries weight the rest of the panel cannot match. She is not building a villain. She is describing an arrangement between two consenting adults, and arrangements of that kind have a shelf life that can be estimated. Which raises the only question that matters next. When did the estimating begin? Because on Campbell's reading, the plan behind that marriage was already years old before Harry had ever heard the name. The latter, rung by rung. Tom Bower's biography is hostile, and the Sussexes' side has disputed it. Held against that, one line in it still gets quoted more than any other. Bower reported that Meghan had Googled Harry and gone deeply into his life before they met. Not looked him up, gone into it. Tom Bower's book is contested, and that particular claim rests on the recollection of one person. What is more checkable is the sequence itself, and the sequence is what Campbell's reading actually rests on. In 2012 came Soho House and Marcus Anderson, the man who decided who came through those doors and who was invited beyond them, and who is still standing in the photographs 14 years later. Through that world came a friendship with Jessica Mulroney, whose family sat close to Canadian political power, and after that, the invitations changed character.
If there's a tell-all interview on the television by Meghan, and or Harry, that's not going to go down well. So they're really under the watchful eye of the royal family for the first year, which they probably don't like at all.
By 2014, an actress from a cable legal drama was seated on a stage in Dublin as a One Young World counselor, alongside Kofi Annan and Mary Robinson. In September 2015, at 1 o'clock in the morning, a message arrived in Piers Morgan's inbox that he had not asked for. He kept the screenshot. He has published it many times since, and the timestamp has never been disputed. Andrew Morton, who has been writing about this family since Diana, needed 5 words for all of it: a networker to her fingertips. He added that the real ability was not charm, but selection, finding the man who needed her. Then Windsor, the 19th of May, 2018. 600 people inside St. George's Chapel, and the entire world watching the doors. Bauer went through the pews afterwards and reported that Harry's own friends had been thinned out, while Hollywood contacts and her representatives were seated. Tina Brown, formerly of Vanity Fair, looked at the same list and drew the sharper conclusion. It was not a picture of the friends Meghan had. It was a picture of the friends she intended to acquire. Ambition is not a crime, and every wedding list is political. Campbell's argument was never about the climbing. It is about what happens in the year the climbing stops working. The year the invitations stopped, the Met Gala. The single most photographed night in fashion, the one room a lifestyle business genuinely cannot do without. Meghan Markle was not seated at the back. She was not placed on a side table near the kitchens. She was not there at all. Ingrid Seward explained the significance on air in the plainest commercial language available. Meghan needs the visibility of that room because being seen there raises her rate. A magazine. Editor discussing a duchess in the vocabulary of a booking agent. That night runs through Anna Wintour and, in recent years, through Jeff and Lauren Sanchez Bezos. Reports have long claimed that Sanchez attempted to build a friendship years ago, back when almost nobody was refusing that woman anything, and was rebuffed. Those are reports, nothing more. But if they are accurate, then the woman said to be seeking billionaires had already declined the open hand of the wife of the richest man alive. Around it, the commercial ledger.
Meghan flew to New York for a baby shower. Now, nothing wrong with going to a baby shower. That's what Americans do. We don't do it so often in the UK.
The Netflix relationship narrowed after the lifestyle series drew reviews that were, at best, unkind. The podcast venture had ended earlier, and when that series was made, the guest list was the tell. A full production, a serious budget, and none of the household names once photographed beside her walked through that kitchen door. Those celebrities never needed her. That is the coldest line in the whole story, and it did not come from Lady C. The counter to all of this is real and deserves stating. A missing gala invitation is not a verdict. That list changes every year, and plenty of famous people are left off it without anybody making a video about it. Streaming deals lapse constantly, and the Sussexes retained a production relationship of some kind, rather than losing everything. A lifestyle brand takes years to build, and the A's Ever launches sold out quickly enough to embarrass the people predicting otherwise. And a snub reported at secondhand, never confirmed by either woman, proves no coordinated freeze. What it proves is narrower, and the narrow version is all Campbell's argument ever required. Access in that town is not owned, it is lent, which leaves one question outstanding, and it is the one Lady C answers last. What Lady C believes is coming. Nobody has filed anything. There is no petition, no separation, no document, and inventing one for a video would be dishonest. The claim Campbell actually makes is stranger and harder to dismiss, and it is about asymmetry. If Harry were to separate, she argues, he would be welcomed back by father and brother almost immediately, and the blame would attach entirely to her. Billy Bush, who has covered these people for 20 years, has said much the same about William's view of the marriage. Angela Levin, no friend of it, still describes Harry as a man drawn in rather than a man who walked. Journalists working the crowds in London when the late Queen died came back with the same split: irritation with Harry, forgiveness plainly available, and the anger reserved almost entirely for his wife.
It would be much better if Meghan and Harry simply said nothing.
Campbell's own advice to him has been consistent, that he would be well advised to leave, and that the door is still just about ajar. She does not believe he will take it. Walking back into England means telling his brother he was right, and he would sooner sit in that house for another decade than say those words out loud. So her forecast is not that Meghan Markle's future is collapsing. It is that it has stopped being hers to decide. The invitations, the rate, the rooms, the door in London that opens for him and not for her. On Lady C's reading, the leverage moved, and the person who spent 20 years climbing is the one standing on a ladder somebody else is holding. So, which is it? Was Harry taken in, or did he read the deal, like the look of it, and sign anyway? Straight into the comments, and do not go easy on him if you think he has not earned it. Subscribe as well, because there is a great deal more coming this week. The gala being planned for the 30th anniversary of his mother's death, and the one name on that guest list that has the Prince of Wales's office visibly uncomfortable.